These elections are so important. These elections mark 3 decades that the ruling party has been in power, and the lives of black people have not moved forward an inch. More than half of the population, particularly black people, they go to bed hungry. The rate of unemployment is alarming in our country. We are landless. Racism is rife in South Africa. And the lived experience of a black person and a white person is too different in South Africa. So in these elections, voting for a political party such as Umkhonto weSizwe, imagine yourself narrowing the gap between the black and the white of South Africa. We want the quality of black people's lives to improve significantly. And we believe that we have President Zuma, who is the president of Umkhonto weSizwe. We know that he represents the agenda of radical economic transformation and land return without compensation. So we are saying that in South Africa today, voting for the ANC, voting for the DA, voting for the EF, you are voting for one party, which is collectively known as the Party for White Monopoly Capital. They all represent the interest of white monopoly capital. We have a different organization now called Umkhonto weSizwe, which speaks to the marginalized people in this country, people who have lost hope since 1994. People who have lost hope since 1994, since the dawn of democracy in this country. We are saying now we have a reliable vehicle for change. And our leader is President Zuma. And we could see when President Zuma was the president of the country, the ruling elite bought non-profit organizations. They bought opposition parties. They bought comrades within his own organization, the African National Congress, to make sure that the idea he was pushing for, the agenda of radical economic transformation, was cut prematurely. So we are saying we have a noble opportunity. President Zuma is back in mainstream politics in South Africa, and he is leading us to a new path. So even for those who are despondent, who are demoralized, who are saying on the 29th of May, I'm not going there. We have been voting since 1994, but our lives are not changing. We are saying, please, we have a credible organization now, and we believe that this organization that represents black people will do things post-election that will remind the people of South Africa that they have made the right choice. And part of the good things that Umkhonto weSizwe must do is to implement practically the program of radical economic transformation. From as early as 2016, when different organizations and people in society were saying Zuma must go, we said Zuma must stay, because we understood from then the agenda he was representing, which is the agenda of radical economic transformation. So we stood with President Zuma when almost everyone in this country was saying Zuma must go. We are the only principled organization that said Zuma is on the right path. And how do we know Zuma is on the right path? Is that the ruling elite of the country, the likes of Johan Rupert and the Oppenheimers, who have the economy of this country, were very unhappy with President Zuma. So us as BLF voting Umkhonto weSizwe in 2024 is a manifestation of our long-standing relationship with President Zuma that we believe will only get stronger now as we will continue to be dedicated, disciplined members of Umkhonto weSizwe, and we will continue to engage our people that the only agenda that will liberate us is that of radical economic transformation and the return of land to its rightful owners, which will always and only be black people. We don't support political parties. We support the principle that President Zuma stands for, which is radical economic transformation, which is the unity of black organizations, and which is the return of land to black people. So for as long as people of the caliber of President Zuma will continue to push an agenda that favors the majority of black people who have nothing today. I believe that we will continue to work hand in hand with President Zuma.